we are going to talk about the father of modern medicine. Now, this industry is very deep, but if you can just understand this influence, everything else should make sense. When speaking of science coming from God, what people do not think about is the money that is behind the research. People just don't come out of nowhere with a big development that the world accepts and implements. The truth is that science would not be possible without the backing of major donors and grants. You have many theories, projects, and experiments that fail, that you never heard of. Not everything works. There is a lot of money that goes into research. Our science has not been primarily funded by the government, but by private donors and corporations. Every major breakthrough has happened because there was major money behind it, backing it. So when we say God is responsible for the breakthroughs, which God are we talking about? Because there is a very specific God on the back of our dollar bills. Anyways, the same families that I have shown in this Breaking Out of the Matrix series, the first part, about following the money. Those same families are the same ones that are the main creators of our science and medical industry. In most of these Breaking Out the Matrix series, you're going to see their influence because they are the ones that have created this matrix. Let's jump and go directly to Rockefeller University. On their site, they plainly say as their motto, science for the benefit of humanity. The Rockefeller family have been major influencers of the scientific and medical community. John D. Rockefeller is known as the father of modern medicine, for those who look deeper than what they are mind-controlled to know. With his deep pockets, he exerted his control. So before we talk about the present and what they currently show on this website, let's go a century back. Let's talk about modern Western medicine. What medicine is like today is not what it was like centuries ago. Doctors used to practice healing through the natural. Our Father created a world that has the natural resources that were able to give us what our bodies needed to heal. Natural and herbal medicines were very popular in America during the early 1900s. Almost one half the medical colleges and doctors in America were practicing holistic medicine, using extensive knowledge from Europe and Native American traditions. But in the 20th century, all that changed. John D. Rockefeller, the wealthiest man in the history of America, was a huge proponent of this change, and most people don't even know of his influence. Most people don't even know of him. By the turn of the 20th century, Rockefeller controlled 90% of all petroleum refineries in America through ownership of his company, Standard Oil Corporation. His company, Standard Oil, was later split into smaller companies, Mobil, Chevron, Exxon, etc., making the family even wealthier. In the beginning of the 20th century, the 1900s, the science world was getting excited about new petrochemicals and the ability to create a variety of new compounds from oil. Some of the first products derived from petrochemicals were plastics, but organic chemists knew that oil had the potential to create far more than plastic bags. With all the research done, it was found that drugs could be produced from petroleum. So the world's top oil man, who controlled the petroleum market, decided to use his influence to change the medical industry. In the early 1900s, there were a variety of doctors and healing methods in America. Some of the medical specialties included chiropractic, naturopathy, homeopathy, holistic medicine, and herbal medicine. To eliminate the competition, Rockefeller used his massive wealth and influence and changed the game. Rockefeller purchased part of the German pharmaceutical company IG Farben. You can look up this company's involvement in World War II. There's a lot to say about them. They're now known as Bayer. He hired a contractor named Abraham Flexner, and Flexner submitted a report to Congress in 1910. This is known as the Flexner Report. This report concluded that there were too many doctors and medical schools in America, and that all the natural healing methods which had existed for hundreds of years were now unscientific quackery. Medicines used for thousands of years were now classified as alternative, and the new petroleum-based patentable drugs were declared the gold standard. And then, gaining more control, Rockefeller then took control of the American Medical Association. And through that report that Abraham Flexner submitted to Congress, he called for a standardization of medical information.
The fact is, 90% of hair loss cases in men are caused by scalp condition, which is the consequence of one.
Based on the report, Congress acted upon Flexner's recommendations and changed laws related to medical practice. With these legal changes in place, Rockefeller teamed up with Andrew Carnegie and started funding medical schools all over America on the strict condition that they only taught their curriculum. The medicine that he was in control of was now the standard of medicine. Through the power of their huge grants, this powerful team systematically dismantled the previous curriculum of these medical schools, removing any mention of the healing power of herbs or natural treatments. Teachings on diet and other natural, non-drug treatments were also completely removed from medical programs. Any mention of their healing power was erased from the medical textbooks. Medicine was changed from wellness and prevention to simply treatment. You're ill? Take 2 of these and call me in the morning. We were moved from using the solutions Father gave us to heal us and moved to the solution that science provided us. Those that were against this change were silenced, and as time went by, people just did as they were taught. After removing traditional medicine from schools, Rockefeller made sure to secure his monopoly by launching a targeted smear campaign against his competitors. Homeopathy and natural medicines were discredited and demonized through the newspapers and other media of the time. Some doctors were even jailed for using natural medicine treatments, including treatments that had been used safely and effectively for decades before. In a very short time, medical colleges were all made uniform. All the students were taught the same allopathic system. Allopathic means science-based. Medicine was now defined as a process of prescribing patented drugs. A pill for an ill became the mindset of American medicine. And maybe you want to think that this was all done by Rockefeller because of money, but it was not that. His family was tasked with helping promote and create this new world order that we're headed to. And he used his influence to create a world that depended more on the God of this world than the God of the Bible. It was not about money. He had all the money he could ever have. The work of Rockefeller and Carnegie was a success. They crushed the underfunded grassroots competition and created our current medical system. A system of science-based medicine that we are never able to challenge and we must accept blindly. This system continues today, wherein Big Pharma makes large donations to medical schools in exchange for teaching the medical students to use their patented drugs. As part of this system, many alternative treatments are criminalized. When evidence came out that petroleum-based medicines might have been causing cancer, Rockefeller then founded the American Cancer Society in 1913 and then suppressed that information. So now, even to this day, people get cancer and no one can explain to you why all of a sudden these cancers have appeared. There's no prevention, just treatment. Rockefeller is literally the father of modern medicine, and most people, including doctors, don't have a clue. When I've talked to doctors and even surgeons, most don't even know of Rockefeller and his oil empire, so they definitely don't understand this history. It's the Matrix. Like these elite families did with all the other industries, they hid themselves under the guise and control of major corporations and exerted their power and control through them. So now we don't talk about them, we just call it Big Pharma. The Rockefeller Empire, along with Chase Manhattan Bank, known as now JP Morgan Chase, owns over half of the pharmaceutical interests in the United States. So now, if we go back to Rockefeller University, look at what they have to say. Bioscience is what we do. Our singular focus is on powering the breakthroughs that will transform medicine. You see, they are transforming medicine. Who we are. The world's leading biomedical research university. Rockefeller draws top scientists and graduate students from around the world in pursuit of one mission: to conduct science for the benefit of humanity. Our history. At the time of the Institute's founding, infectious diseases such as tuberculosis, diphtheria, and typhoid fever were considered the greatest known threats to human health. New research centers in Europe, including the Koch and Pasteur Institutes, were successfully applying laboratory science to increase our understanding of those and other diseases. Following their lead, the Rockefeller Institute became the first biomedical research center in the United States. A new kind of hospital. The Rockefeller Institute Hospital, crucial to the Institute's mission, opened in 1910, the first center for clinical research in the United States. It remains a place where researchers can link laboratory investigations with bedside observations to provide a scientific basis for disease detection, prevention, and treatment. Early on, researchers at the hospital studied polio, heart disease, and diabetes, among other diseases. This special hospital environment served as the model for dozens of other clinical research centers established over the next decades. They clearly controlled and steered our modern medicine. I went over this for you so you can see how intertwined the Rockefeller family is with our science and medicine. They are the pioneers and founders of modern science and medicine, and most people don't even know of their influence.